So here we go with Unit F. We're going to be writing equations of lines in slope-intercept form. So not necessarily graphing, but writing the equations of the lines. So my first question is, what is slope-intercept form? And why is it called slope-intercept form? You do not intercept the slope. It gives you the slope and the y-intercept. That's why it's called slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form, which letter represents the slope? And the y-intercept? All right. So, here is a graph. If I want to write the slope-intercept form of this, I need to identify what the slope is and the y-intercept. Now, the easiest thing to identify first is what? The y-intercept. What is the y-intercept here? Positive 4. And again, that's just looking for where is it crossing the y-axis. Okay, now to find the slope, I'm going to go from that y-intercept to another point on the graph. And the point that I want to pick is any point that crosses exactly where grid lines cross. Remember when we did that zombies graphing activity last week and how that preciseness was an issue? Yeah. So preciseness is an issue here. You don't want something like right here, it looks like it's pretty close to crossing at grid lines, but that's not exact. Where is it exactly crossing grid lines? Well, to me it looks like it could be exactly crossing right here. Yeah? So from there, I should know, since this is going downhill from left to right, what does that tell me about my slope? It's negative. My rise would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the run would be 1, 2, 3. So if this is my slope, and this is my y-intercept, my equation is what? Y equals negative 5/3 x plus 4. That's my equation. Easy peasy? Yeah. What if I made life even easier and I said the slope is 4/5 and the y-intercept is 4? What's the equation?
Y equals 4/5 plus
4/5 what?
X.
Plus 4. If you just write y equals 4/5 plus 4, that's actually just an addition problem. It's not the equation of a line. Okay? So make sure you remember to put that x in there. All right? All right, see if you can write the remaining equations here up through number 7. All right, what's my equation in number 3? Y equals what? Negative 7x minus 5. What about here? Y equals 8. Why don't I write 0x? Because 0 times x is 0. It just disappears, right? So that's just y equals 8. What about here? Y equals 3x plus 1. Here? 4x, and I don't have a b value at 0. Well, I do have a b value at 0, but I don't need to write it in the equation. And this one? Y equals negative x minus 2. You wouldn't see it written as negative 1x. You would just see it written as negative x. Okay? Now, coming back to this one that has a slope of 0. The slope of 0 made that x term drop out, didn't it? What if I gave you another one and I said the slope is undefined and the x-intercept, because there is no y-intercept in this line, the x-intercept is 3. What the what? Well, I know if the slope is 0 and the y-intercept is 8, that means I've got a line that's going like up here, right? Perfectly horizontal. If I have a slope that's undefined, I have a line that's vertical. And it's going to cross the x-axis at 3. Do you see why it has no y-intercept? Doesn't cross the y-axis. What's the equation of that line? If the slope is undefined, your line is automatically x equals something, and it's going to be whatever that x-intercept is. So that would be the equation x equals 3. That is technically slope-intercept form for that line because it's the only way you can actually write that line. Now that one's not going to come up too often, but did want to cover it for you. All right, let's practice a couple more from pictures. So number 8, well, for all of these, again, I need M and B. So I'm going to get those all set up. M, oops, and B. So in number 8, what is my B value? -2. What's another point I can use to figure out my slope? How about the x-intercept? Because that's pretty easy, right? It's a direct crossing. So I have a rise of 2 and a run of 2, meaning my slope is what? So what's my equation? Y equals 1x, just write x, minus 2. Okay? Why don't you try the other 3?